Maybe you've heard of Britannia Manor. It's a local haunted house.
It's not your ordinary haunted house. First off, it's the home of Richard Garriott of Origin Systems, and folks in Austin have been camping out just for the chance to get in. Only 1,000 will get tickets. Photojournalist Robert Piniagua is one of the lucky ones. He gives us a look at Britannia Manor.
Welcome to Britannia Manor. I'm Lord British, your host. And I've invited you here on a most perilous occasion, for you see, tonight, my home has become a hellmouth. It's an entry into hell itself, and demons and gargoyles are coming up from through it. And I've invited you here because my servant, the Avatar, who went deep inside, went there 3 days ago and has failed to return. Perhaps you can succeed where she has failed.
Garriott puts up the Britannia Manor for the public about every other year.
Last night, we showed you a West Austin mansion that's being converted into an elaborate, interactive haunted house. Tonight, some folks can't wait to get in. Britannia Manor opens on Friday night, but with 5 days to go, fans are already lining up outside. KXAN News 36's Claire Radeke joins us now live from the impromptu campsite. And Claire, I hear people are coming from as far away as Japan, but isn't this a little early for a line?
Well, Sally, not for these folks. As you might be able to see, we have a Volkswagen van behind me here, and just a few steps away behind me, there is a set of about 10 tents. Now, most of the folks out here have been to the spectacular haunted houses in past years, but this one is bigger and better, and so these folks want to make sure they don't miss out. High atop a hill in West Austin, they wait.
It's worth it. It's worth the wait. That's why all of us are here.
This campsite is actually a line, and these campers are here 5 days ahead of schedule to see Richard Garriott's haunted mansion.
This is a 76 VW bus, and I went to Woodstock in it.
Mark Swainson may be the most prepared. His van comes equipped with a sound system, a fridge, and a handful of groceries.
You sit out here for 4 or 5 days, and you're camping in a van. It gets kind of tedious.
Damon Wagley's been here since Sunday, first in line. Says he wouldn't give up this spot for $1,000. It'd have to be more.
I can't speak for the group, but $1,500, I'd stand in line again for $1,500.
Campers thought they'd have their first surprise on Friday night inside the haunted house. But the surprise comes early as mastermind Richard Garriott shows up with lunch for his fans.
There's 2 12-packs of Coke, hamburgers, fries. All compliments of Mr. Garriott.
Well, I figured these guys can suffer out here for a week. The least I can do is help ease the suffering a bit. So.
Richard Garriott says he's going to put up porta potties, showers, and some trash cans because by the time he opens his haunted house on Friday, there could be thousands of people out here, and he wants to make sure things don't get too scary. Sally.
Fireballs light up the night sky. Demons fly through the air. Austinite Richard Garriott again has transformed his West Austin mansion into an interactive Halloween adventure.
I'm scared already. Well, KXAN News 36's Claire Radeke shows us why folks are traveling from all over the world to see this year's tricks and treats.
Prepare yourself. It's Judgment Day in the Court of Hell, and Demon Minos is handing down your sentence. Guests to Britannia Manor crawl through the gates of hell. Their mission? To comb these dark walls, rescue the good Avatar from the bowels of evil to save the world.
Tribute for us is still required.
No tribute?
No tribute? Then you shall stay and entertain us for eternity. Powers of darkness arise!
Evil witches with melting faces try to steal the Star of Palestine. It's the key to this ghastly puzzle, and mortal guests must think their way through. This may be the country's most elaborate haunted house, created by Austinite Richard Garriott. The 33-year-old maker of interactive computer games says he's not able to see people enjoying his labors, so now every other year he takes his interactive idea a step further here at Britannia Manor.
Britannia Manor is really much more of an interactive, adult-level adventure where the guests will actually interact with the actors and negotiate with them and operate equipment and collect artifacts, crawl and climb and potentially swim, but hopefully not. And so therefore the experience is unlike what you see in a normal haunted house.
Guests get clues from this moving Ouija board. Hear a sermon from the depths of hell. And listen to pain singing from tormented souls.
First, there is fear. There is no torture, only suffering.
Jeffrey is the lunatic master of this dark dungeon, where demons appear from the wall.
No mortal dare speak to me in that manner.
Guests finally reach the good avatar, chained at the foot of the devil. Here they discover if they have the right jewel and have saved the world, or have failed and leave Avatar damned to hell.
And now I will destroy all of these mortals, beginning with you, Avatar.
Claire Radicke, KXAN News 36, First Cast.
Austin takes Halloween seriously, so seriously the planning has started a week early. A mansion high in the hills of western Travis County turns into a house of horrors every other year. KG24's Kim Barnes joins us from there now. And Kim, I understand folks are already waiting in line to get in 4 days early.
That's exactly right. It's hard to believe it, isn't it? But there's a lot of work that goes into this. This is where you're going to descend into darkness. That's the entrance right there. But before that can happen, volunteers are working really hard to try to get everything transformed in this mansion to a house of horrors. Now, it's costing about $500,000 to transform this place. But you might be surprised then, because of all the cost, what people are willing to do to be able to get a chance to go inside. This afternoon, there were already people down the road lining up, if you can believe it. Some people began camping out yesterday. They will have to stay here until Friday. That's when they're just passing the time. They have to save their space to be able to go in. The first group will get to go in on Friday. Now, it takes about an hour and a half to be able to get all the way through this haunted house. This is where you end up. Kind of creepy, huh? This is the demon here. He's the one who lets you know if you made the right decisions or not when you get to this place. Now, the mastermind behind this whole haunted house is Richard Garriott. Come up here. Richard, I guess a big question. Why in the world do you do this?
Boy, that's been a real tough question to answer. People have been asking me that for years, but I really think it has to do with live performance. I mean, what many of us do, myself included, is we do computer games for a living. And in computer games, you never get to see anybody enjoying your craft. Well, here, this is like a big adventure game, but yet you get to see the participants enjoying it. So I think that's really it.
I guess watching people get a little scared. People will get their first chance to go in here on Friday, and they're expecting to get about 800 to 1,000 people through these doors between Friday and Halloween. Judy?
Always quite an event out there.
Right.
Thank you, Kim. You know, some people will do just about anything for a good scare.
And in fact, one Austin man is making sure that they get their share of this Halloween as well. News Center 7's Susan Rodman is out at Britannia Manor, which is in West Austin. And Susan, it looks like people are really going to extremes to get this big building into a haunted mansion.
Yeah, Neil, they sure are. Extremes is one way to describe it. These are a bunch of the haunters over here to my right, taking a much-deserved break. They've been getting ready for this for about 6 months in the planning stages. It opens Friday night, and as you mentioned, people will get their money's worth because it's free. People have been waiting in line for days, camping out, trying to get tickets, trying to establish their spot in line so that they can get some of the free tickets to come to this haunted mansion. They say they know it's going to be worth it.
It'll be over 100 hours for something that's going to last an hour or so.
once-in-a-lifetime thing for me.
It's totally worth it. I did it 2 years ago, and it's just the greatest thing. It's just, all these people here have been like, we're like a big family. It's great. It really is worth it.
And for those not lucky enough to make it inside, here's a quick preview of what lies beyond. You may have recognized in that quick video, this is Richard Garriott. He's the man who owns this house, this now haunted house. Is it worth it? Why go through all this and spend all this money?
Boy, that's a really good question. But everything has to do with giving out live performances. I do computer games for a living, for which there's no opportunity for live performance. And this is easily the largest adventure game in the world. So
it's amazing. Your house in itself normally has an observatory and an indoor-outdoor pool and a big haunted house it makes.
Yeah, in fact, it makes a great setting because it has secret passageways throughout it. It has a real dungeon and a wine cellar, and so part of the tour goes throughout the mansion itself here, as well as about 8 acres of the territory around it as well. So
just real quickly, how many people will make it through?
Just under 1,000 total will experience it this year.
All right, Richard, thanks so much. I know you guys have been working hard. Head on out here, though. I need to tell you, chances of getting tickets are very slim at this point. People have been out there for about 100 hours, and they're waiting to get their shot to go through this haunted mansion. But don't worry, in 2 years, there'll be another one. I'm Susan Rodman, reporting live from West Austin. Neil and Stephanie.
Judy, the forces of evil are finally ready to converge on this West Austin hilltop. For 5 days, hundreds of people have been waiting for their chance to follow this trail of fire into an enclave of evil. Well, only about 750 people total will get to experience this adventure. So we decided to give the rest of you a glimpse of the horror. Prepare to be scorched by the flames of hell.
One of you must come forward to accept judgment for your friends.
Although one stands trial, all are damned.
Guilty! Guilty as charged! Take these people from my sight!
This high-tech adventure is a full-contact descent into demonic depths.
Powers of darkness, arise! Teach these fools!
A hole to hell has opened beneath Britannia Manor, the real-life home of millionaire game designer Richard Garriott.
Most haunted houses are sequences full of boo scares. What we do here really is, though we do have our boo scares by all means, this is really more of an interactive, very frightening obstacle course.
Crawling, climbing, even swimming are possible, but the real danger is losing sight of your quest.
You must find the key to unlock the Avatar when you find her. Go now, quickly, before the Master learns you're here.
I am the keeper of the Well of Souls. You have trespassed upon my ground, and for that you will die.
Ducking this demon is part of an hour-long adventure.
Before I give you this prize, you must gaze into my eyes.
Garriott gives his guest a living, breathing version of his computer role-playing games.
Stop!
What does he get out of it?
To hear them shriek, to laugh about the fact that they may have wet themselves because they were so scared.
Give me the jewel, Avatar, or watch as I destroy these mortals one by one before your very eyes.
Your skill decides your fate. Successfully navigate the $500,000 haunt, you save the world. Lose, and you disappear into the depths of despair.
Stop them! Do not let them get away!
Well, during my trip, I can definitely tell you I was bumped, bruised, and basically came out exhausted. As for the hundreds of people who are waiting at the bottom of this hill for their chance to go through tomorrow night and every night through Halloween, I think, despite the cold, despite the wet, despite everything, they will come out saying it was worth it. For the rest of you, well, Judy, I'm sorry. Maybe in 2 or 3 years, you'll get your chance to go through.
Yeah, I want that assignment next time. Thanks, Betty.
Thanks for joining us on this Halloween weekend edition of Entertainment Tonight. I'm John Tesh.
And I'm Lisa Gibbons, and I'm sure what's going on at your house this weekend is the same as at our houses. Some pumpkin carving, maybe a little decorating, getting ready for that onslaught of Halloween ghosts and goblins headed for your door. But we traveled to Texas to find one guy who has turned his home into an unbelievable Halloween experience. Something is awry under the calm skies of Austin. Evil has been set free. The fate of the world rests in the hands of a few brave souls wise enough to defeat the demon. Have no fear, there's no real danger. This live version of a Dungeons & Dragons board game is the brainchild of 33-year-old Richard Garriott, a self-made millionaire and creator of fantasy computer games. Every 2 years, he turns his home into Britannia Manor, a mystical place filled with ghouls and lots of special effects.
The storyline is that underneath my own home, Britannia Manor, a mouth to hell itself has erupted and demons and devils are coming up from within. So what we have here is the fissures and crevices that have kind of sprung up from beneath, and your quest is to go into the home, go down through the plains of hell, recover this magical gem that is necessary, and seal the entrance behind you.
Sounds easy, but this trip is not for the weak or squeamish. Guests overcome rigorous obstacles before their quest is over. But first, would-be challengers camp out in front of Richard's house for a week, dying to get in.
So it's Monday. Yeah, about 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday. It's a thrill. It's not really a haunted house. It's just a wild-ass adventure.
Richard's poured over $100,000 of his own money into this 4-day event, and he's enlisted over 300 volunteers to help pull off the transformation.
This is a major undertaking. We've been working on this for easily 6 months.
This Lord of the Manor gave us a peek into his crucible of doom.
The adventurers have crossed the river Styx, have come through the city of Dis to be judged by Minos, judge of the damned. How do you like that?
Richard charges his guests nothing to experience his playground. He does it just for the fun of it.
It's not just the screams, it's also the sheer delight. It's to see people just kind of running and laughing and screaming. It's the audience response.
Isn't it great that there are guys like that out in the world? You have to wonder where he gets the kind of money to spend on his house for Halloween and not even charge a dime in admission. Well, Garriott has made millions from his Ultima computer games. He feels this is kind of a way to give a little back to his fans, plus give them a great kick for Halloween.